Hey guys, thank you so much for coming. I'm here tonight to tell you about the reasons why you should support a child in a third world country. Now, if you want to choose to support a child financially through an organization, there are a couple different organizations that you have the chance to look at. A couple that I've researched are World Help, Compassion, World Vision, Save the Children, and Child Fund. Of course, there are many more organizations than these. These are the top ones that come up. There's different ones, of course, that you can research, and all of them are generally the same. There's a little bit of research involved. Some organizations do a little bit more than others, so you want to carefully pick the organization that you want to go through. Now, there's a couple reasons why you would want to financially support a child in a third world country. These reasons include poverty, health, education, and safe water. Now, why would you financially sponsor a child? Financially sponsoring a child provides them with access to life-changing basics. Now, these basics include food, clean water, healthcare, and education. Now, these are all things that in America we have. It's things that we take for granted, and these are just basics to them. So it's very important to recognize that all they really need are everyday basic things. Now, here's a couple of poverty statistics from around the globe. Children under the age of 18 make up nearly 48% of the population of the world's least developed countries, compared with 21% of the population of the world's industrialized nations. Over 1.4 billion people in the developing world live below the poverty line. Now, this poverty line means that these people, 1.4 billion people, make less than $1.25 a day. Now, minimum wage here is what, $7.25? So that is so extremely less than what we have. Approximately 1/3 of the world's poor people live in India. So that's a big number. Here's some health statistics. Malaria kills approximately 1 million children per year. Many of them are under the age of 5, and most of them live in sub-Saharan Africa. About 1.8 million people, most of whom are children, die annually of foodborne diseases. Now, of course, foodborne diseases can be everywhere. They can be in America, they can be, in third world countries, they can be in developed countries. The only problem is that in third world countries, they don't have the health care that we do. And so, if one of us gets food poisoning, all we do is go to the hospital and get it fixed. But they can't do that there. So, providing them with good food, clean water, and health care are all important to their overall health. Approximately 37% of deaths among children under 5, that's 9.7 million worldwide in 2006, occur in the first month of life. So most of these children don't even have a chance to make it past the first month of their life. How sad is that? Here's some education statistics. An estimated 130 million of the world's 15 to 24-year-olds cannot read or write. Now, we're all approximately around 24 years old, so that would include all of us. So can you imagine having friends that can't read or write? That's something that, doesn't really happen here. Of the 22 countries where more than half of the population is illiterate, 15 are in Africa. So obviously that statistic shows that Africa is not very well off when it comes to education. Only 14.4% of the GDP per capita is spent on primary education worldwide. So if 14% of the total GDP is spent on education, what's the rest of it being spent on? That's something that we really need to consider. What are they doing with all this extra money? Where is it going? There are 781 million illiterate adults worldwide, and 64% of them are women. Here's some water statistics. Roughly 12% of the world's population, or 884 million people, do not have access to safe water. Now, again, that's something that we can't really understand. We all have access to water. Some of us may not be able to pay the bills for them, but we all at least have access to it. Approximately 1.8 million children die each year as a result of disease caused by unclean water and poor sanitation. This is around 5,000 deaths a day. Nearly 90% of water-related diseases are due to unsafe water, sanitation, and hygiene, and most victims are children in developing countries. Now, another statistic that I found online, it was kind of more of an analogy. If you could put all the water in the world, from the oceans and seas and lakes and stuff like that, if you could put them all in a bucket, only a teaspoon of that would be able to be drank. So that's obviously not that much, and so a lot of people don't have the education when it comes to clean water, and so not only do we need to provide the water, we need to educate them on how to get it clean. Now, there's different ways to help. There's, you can start by sponsoring a child, but if that's something that is too much of a responsibility for you, or you think that you just couldn't handle it, or maybe you just don't want to, you can also provide them other things. You can provide them medicine, clothing, water wells, or animals. Now, if you decide to provide them with some form of medicine, these things can include bed nets for families, a kit that is for new mothers and babies, regular immunizations, which of course we have here available, and wheelchairs. On worldvision.com it said that to buy a wheelchair is actually only $50. And $420 worth of medicine costs us only $35 to give to them. Now, you can also provide these people with animals. Some animals that you are able to choose from online to give to them are chickens, goats, ducks, sheep, and donkeys. And then there's also things like llamas and cows and stuff like that. $100 will buy a family a goat and 2 chickens. Now, of course, the goat supplies the family with milk, yogurt, stuff like that. And the chickens, of course, provide eggs. And the eggs are high in nutrients like protein, which is really important for children's health. And if they have any extra eggs or chicks, they can be sold at their local markets for more money. So it's a very good investment for them. And also, another thing that I'll talk to you about briefly is there's also a couple of different opportunities online where, instead of just choosing to sponsor a child or choosing to buy them an animal or choosing to buy them medicine, you can actually give it as a gift. So, for instance, if you want to choose to give your family members, instead of giving everybody presents that they want or that they think they need, you can choose to, in their name, give somebody a goat or a sheep, or you can choose to give them medicine and stuff like that. So there's a lot of opportunities here. There's a lot of organizations to go through, and so there's really not a lot of excuses not to do it. So that was my speech. I hope you enjoyed it.